So going on right now, about an hour ago, President Trump signed an executive order to ban the Department of Education. I already knew this was coming. Department of Education, honey, when I left school in 1995, when I graduated, and I began up having kids, honey, has changed from state to state. Now, some states you go to, your kids might get a quality education. But honey, in Mississippi, and I'm not trying to down Mississippi, when my daughter, when I transferred to Mississippi, and my daughter was in first grade. She has been in private school her whole life. Do you know these people had an attitude because my child was in private school and she passed all their classes, they set her back a class because they said, oh, well, even though she passed it, it still was private school. Private school is supposed to be a better education than public school. And you're sitting here telling me because she passed everything, she got a problem? The Department of Education has been went downhill for a long time now. I've been out of school since 1995. My daughter and my son are young, but they went through the school system, and I ended up putting them in public school system. Honey, I had to go up to that school, and you can't depend on nobody to raise your kids and do right by your kids but you. Okay, that's not those people's job. Their job is to go by the curriculum that they are given. And unfortunately, if they are not somebody that's going to stand up because they're there to get their paycheck, they don't care what they're teaching your kids. I've seen it, I've experienced it, and ain't nobody going to tell me nothing different. Comment down below if you had an experience with the Department of Education. Is your kids in public school? Are they in private school? Do you homeschool your kids? Because right now, I felt like I should have homeschooled my kids, honey. It probably would have been the best thing for them to homeschool them because the Department of Education, I struggled so hard with my son in his last years of school because he found out that he wasn't Mom, I'm not learning nothing. They teaching us old history. The history is not even true. When you start taking your kids to these historical libraries and historical national archives and letting them do their own research, and they see that the stuff that they're learning is not going to help their lives, it's not going to enhance them, honey, they don't teach kids that no more. That left when I left school. Back in 92, when I was in public school, I was raised in a public school, and that's why I wanted my kids to stay in private. Back in 1992, 93, 94, when I was in high school, they taught us how to cook. We had home economics. We learned how to sew. We learned how to do things that was going to enhance our lives. They been took that stuff out of school. We learned how we had driver's education on simulators. We had so much stuff to help us in life. Like they don't have that in the public schools anymore. I'm sorry. A few months ago, my nephew came home when I was visiting. Honey, he was talking about his body parts. I felt some type of way. He don't need to be knowing about uh 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 all these different genders and saying that he ain't a boy and why we trick him and no, honey, no. All that stuff needs to be taken out of the school. That's why I am glad that they're revamping it. They just need to gut it out and revamp it because that mess they teaching them kids, that is not going to enhance their lives to know about if you are a transgender or if you want to be they got just all type of stuff that don't have no quality for a boy and a girl. First of all, when did kids stop learning that they were a boy and a girl? Honey, I done missed out. Because the stuff that I was like, who told you you want a boy? You have men and women have distinct parts. Women have a reproduction, like some stuff to me should not be in the school teaching kids. Now, on the other hand, when I was in school, they taught us about education too, but that was more like applying a condom and whatnot to protect yourself. We learned about diseases. We learned about stuff that was going to help us survive in life. This stuff they teaching these kids now, honey, I question it. And I have questioned. I have went up to the schools and said, what are y'all teaching these kids? And their response is, well, we just go by what they tell us. They don't care what they teaching your kids. That's why it's up to you as a parent, to take responsibility for your children. Now, Donald Trump did sign an executive order, and let's go over it. Let's talk about it. So the executive order, he is saying our nation's bright future relies on empowerment, families, engaged communities, and excellent educational opportunities for every child. Unfortunately, the experiment of controlling American education through federal programs and dollars and the unacceptable bureaucracy those programs and dollars support has plainly failed our children, our teachers, and our families. I agree. If you don't agree, that's fine. We can always agree to disagree, but he ain't told no lies in this statement that he just made. Taxpayers spend about $200 billion at the federal level on schools during C-19, on top of more than $60 billion they spend annually on federal school funding. This money is largely dispersed by one of the newest cabinet agencies, the Department of Education, which has existed for less than 1/5 of our nation's history. The Congress created the Department of Education in 1979 at the urging of President Jimmy Carter, who received a first ever presidential endorsement from the country's largest teachers union shortly after pledging to the union his support for a separate Department of Education. Since then, the Department of Education has entrenched the education bureaucracy and sought to convince Americans that federal control over education is beneficial. While the Department of Education does not educate anyone, it maintains a public relations office that includes over 80 staffers at a cost of more than $10 million a year. Why do they have to be paid $10 million a year? I want to know. Because what kind of education they got, honey? I didn't know. Only thing I knew about you applying for the school, you just had to be a teacher or like if you're a principal or something, but that's a lot of money. Again, he's trying to eliminate all this unnecessary cost. Why do y'all have to be paid all that money? And what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing and how are y'all benefiting these children? Some of these kids don't know how to survive. They don't know how to do anything but play video games at their age. These kids these days, honey, they know how to play video games. Continuing on, the closure of the Department of Education will drastically improve program implements and higher learning. The Department of Education currently manages a student loan debt portfolio of more than $1.6 trillion. This means that the federal student aid program is roughly the size of one of the nation's largest banks, Wells Fargo. But although Wells Fargo has more than 200,000 employees, the Department of Education has fewer than 1,500. Wow. In its Office of Federal Student Aid. Wow. So these people, y'all, these people been spending money, getting over. They been getting over, baby. The Department of Education is not a bank, and it must return bank functions to an equity equipped to serving American students. The second section, closing the Department of Education and returning authority to the states. The Secretary of State shall, the maximum extent, close the department, I'm just paraphrasing, Department of Education and return authority over education to the states and local communities while ensuring the effectiveness and uninterrupted delivery of services, programs, and benefits to the Americans rely on. Section B, consistent with the Department of Education, the Secretary of Education shall ensure that the funds abide by the federal law and administration policies, I'm just paraphrasing, including the requirement that a program or activity receiving federal assistance terminate illegal discrimination obscure under the label diversity, equity, and inclusion, or similar terms and programs promoted gender ideology. But I'm confused because I did make a video talking about, I don't know why people, do y'all care where y'all tax money is going? Even though we don't know exactly where it's going. I care about where my money going. I care and I should have a say so. If I am paying $2,000 in American dollars a paycheck, federal is taking out $1,600 and the state is taking out $500 and some dollars, honey, I want to know where every dime is going. And I should have a say so. If whatever you want to do with your body, I don't think the government has no business telling nobody what to do with their body. That's just my opinion. We are humans. We can do whatever we want to do with our body. We have a constitution, so we have rights. We don't need the government telling us what to do with our body, and we shouldn't be funding people to do what they want to do with their body. Whatever you do with your body is your business, and who you sleep with is your business. But I should not be responsible for that. So them revamping this Department of Education, I concur. I agree. Now, like I said, we don't have to agree to disagree, but on this one, I agree. Okay, moving on. Nothing in this order shall be construed to compare or otherwise affected. Now, I made a video about when Tabitha Brown had her diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we have those programs in my job. But I want to know, nobody that look like me can tell me, how do we benefit? Like, what am I getting out of being? I just feel like hire people that know how to do the job. Okay, everybody don't know how to do no job. Black people act like we are benefiting. I want to know how. Please tell me. Please tell me how Black people are benefiting from DEI. And I want you to tell me how, because when I look at my job, in my job, honey, there's more Hispanic and Asians at my job than Black folks in the whole company. So if there were more Black people, I can say, okay, they're including more Black people. But I don't see that. I don't see it. If I saw it, then I would probably be like, okay, I can believe how they can take that out and mix up other people inside. But in California, a lot of these jobs are predominantly Hispanics and Asians, because we're right in the Pacific Ocean, and a lot of migrants come over from the Pacific Ocean. And the people that's sitting in the HR departments and that's hiring, they're not hiring Black people that look like me, honey. I know that for a fact because I've lived it. So nobody can tell me different. Now, if you know something different, comment down below and let me know. But that's another video, and I'm gonna go into more detail about it, because Black people always marching for something that we ain't got nothing to do with, and we don't even have a benefit. We're supposed to be the smallest 13% of the population. We have nothing. I don't know. I'm 40. I'll be 48 this year. I don't know. Somebody please in the comments tell me. But I think the revamping of the Department of Education, honey, has been long overdue. Long overdue. These kids need to learn how to survive. They need to learn how to do money marketing stuff. They need to learn how to be entrepreneurs. They need to learn. Why are we sending our kids to go to school to work for a factory? No. We need to teach them how to survive, how to generate wealth, how to pass money down, how to do deeds and live in trust and stuff like that. When I was in school, they taught us about that. We had accounting. We had all kind of stuff in school to teach us about money, writing checks. Honey, they done took cursive out of the school. How you cursive write? Just wrong, y'all. Comment down below and let me know what you think about Donald Trump revamping or getting rid of the Department of Education. I'm just giving you my opinion, and I'll see you in the next video.